Hello everyone. So I will be solving another Leetcode problem today called 2sum. Although this is an easy problem, but I have personally been asked this in one of the technical interviews, so it's a important one. So let's look at the question and see how to solve this problem. Given an array of integers num and an integer target, return indices of two numbers such that they add up to target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. You can return the answer in any order. Okay, so this question asks us to find two elements inside this vector which will sum up to target. And if we take a look at the first example, it's pretty clear the first two elements sum up to target. So 2 plus 7 is 9, and that's exactly what we need to return. Or you have to return the indices, so it won't be 2 and 7, it would be indices of that element. So it's 0 and 1, so hence it returns 0 and 1. It's pretty easy. If there is just one thing which we need to think about. So for example, if we know one of the number, we would know what the other number would be, right? Because it would be complement of the target. So if I say if I assume that 2 is one of the number, the another would be 7, 9 minus 2, right? So if I say let's assume x is one of the pair which will add up to target, the another number would automatically be target minus x, right? So that should be pretty clear to you. And that's basically, if once you figured that out, that's exactly what we need to do. So let's code it down and I'll explain it as we go. So since we will be returning, the return type of this 2sum as vector of n, hence I just created another vector with the name answer. Okay, once we have that, all we need to do is iterate our nums vector. So I less than, it will go till nums dot size, then I'll be iterating, and now I'm gonna iterate again on this nums vector, but this time I will be finding another number, right? So once we know what one number is, another number is pretty easy to find, which will be target minus that particular number. So let's say another, to find another number, it would be, it should be j less than nums dot size, and then we'll be incrementing j. Okay, now it's important, or take notice of the condition I'll be using. So if nums of j, if it's equal to target minus nums of I, and another thing you need to keep in mind is that the element shouldn't be repeated, like the same, we can't really consider the same element twice, right? So indices should be different. So another check would be if I is not equals to j. If we have met both of these conditions, that means we have found our pair, which will be I and j, right? And then we'll return our answer. All right, so let's run this. Oh, that is a typo, my bad. All right, it passes 3 test cases. Let's submit it and see if it passes all the cases. Okay, it does. So this is one of the ways to do this problem. I will show you another way. So right now what's going on is I'm iterating the nums vector twice. So the time complexity would be O of n square, and n would be the size of the nums vector. So let's think about another way of doing it. Can we bring this time complexity down? We can. Which way we can do it? We can use a data structure, or let's say map, and using that map we can bring the time complexity down, and I think that's more elegant. It's gonna be a more elegant solution because we are gonna be doing it in just one iteration. So let's let me explain how I'm thinking of doing it using maps. So in maps I was thinking of storing the element and corresponding indices of that element. If I store that, then it's very easy to find the complement of it. I'll just say, while iterating, I'll say, hey, did you encounter if I do a dry run, if I say, hey, I saw 2, did you get 7 before me? If it doesn't, it will just include the 2 in the index, so it will store 2, which will be, and the second element would be 0. So element and its corresponding indices. And now in the second iteration, it will come to 7, and then it says, hey, did you look at did you have any complement of 7 or target or 9 minus 7? And it will say, hey, I do have 2. So it will return back the indices of it. So it's pretty easy to think about it once I start implementing it. So let's start off with creating a vector which I'll be returning. So same thing as, and now I'll also create a map, and let's give it a name of frec or frequency, and then let's rename it. Let's not say frequency, let's just say indices or index. Index is better. And then let's run a for loop which will start on 0 and then it will end at the size of nums. Okay, and now we will check, hey, do you have the particular number's complement? So let's just say index dot find, and what we are finding target minus nums of I. So do you have this number already? If you do, which will be index dot end, if you have that number, then great, then I already know what my indices would be. So one of the indices would be I, this particular index which I'm getting, and another would be getting the index from the map, so which would be index, and the element through which I'll get the value is target minus nums of I. This will return me another index, right? Because if you think about it, if we go to 7 and say, hey, do you have target minus 7, so 9 minus 7, 2, do you have 2? Yeah, it does have 2. So what we are doing is we are getting the second value. So we are passing the first value. First value would be target minus nums I, which is going to be 9 minus 7, 2, and it will return the indices of 2, which is going to be 0, and that's exactly what we want. We want to store indices of this particular element, so 7, so 1 over here, and then index of, or give me the value of index target minus nums, which will return the indices of 2. And then we'll say, okay, I have already found the number, and now I'll just gonna be yeah, so if this condition, if it already exists, if it doesn't, then we need to insert it. So we'll be doing index dot insert, and now pass the first and the last values. First value would be nums of I, and the second value would be index of it, so it's gonna be I, right? And so once we have that, we'll just return answer. Let's run it. Oh, I forgot to include a semicolon. Alright, it passes the 3 test cases. Let's submit it and see if all the test cases passes or not. Okay, it does. So yeah, so this is another solution, and I think this is more elegant according to me, because I'm not actually iterating, and it's a little bit clever solution because you are already storing, or you are, what we can call it is, I'm already caching. I'm caching the complement of the particular value. If it's if we are encountering the element for the first time, I'll just insert it, the value of it and its corresponding indices. If it already exists, then we have already found, give me this indices and give me the retrieve the value from the map or the indices of the map, right? So yeah, these are the two solutions I wanted to share with you guys, and I hope you enjoy coding, and I'll see you in the next one.